Hello, today we're going to look at talking about what we're going to do this week. And the primary focus is human subjects, or the study of human subjects through the use of survey tools. You're going to look at some of the ethics of conducting research involving humans. It's not like we're studying the natural world in terms of looking at rocks or trees or animals, those kinds of things, although there are ethical standards in all those cases as well. But as political scientists or social scientists, our focus on the use of humans becomes really important in how we deal with them. Certainly the rule is to do no harm. And in our case, we're not in a position similar to, say, a medical doctor who's doing research on drugs or some kind of medicine that will impact physiologically. But there are questions that can be raised when we're dealing with psychological implications. Certainly there are questions for social scientists when dealing with minors or children. I know some of you in the discussions mentioned prisoners, and you'll read a little bit about some of the limitations to conducting research on, not to sound funny, but a captive audience, which prisoners certainly are. Part of this is driven by what we've seen in the past, and you'll read about some experiments that were, as we look back on them, certainly beyond question. The Tuskegee syphilis study is probably one of the most famous. To give human beings a disease without their knowledge for the purpose of scientific research is clearly crossing an ethical boundary that we would not want to do today. So part of this is to remind us that we have an obligation as scientists, as those who study, to make sure we don't repeat some of the past mistakes. At the university level, the Institutional Review Board, or the IRB, are the folks responsible excuse me, to make sure that we maintain an ethical standard as we conduct our research. You'll become familiar with that as you go through the human subjects module. As I conduct research through the center, we have to submit an application every time we do a community survey. You might say, well, what's the potential harm in a community survey? It's not so much the harm, but it's also a disclosure. We apply for what's called exempt status, in essence saying we will not harm those who participate in it, but we have to disclose certain set of information. So, for example, non-participation is okay. You're not going to be there are no repercussions for not participating, which is important when you're surveying on behalf of a local government. People want to feel comfortable that their opinions will not result in some kind of punitive action towards them. I want to remind you to read the CPMRA survey instruments. You'll see at the beginning of each of those a standard set of phrases, language, paragraphs, which describe and are in essence the human subject language, talking about what your obligations are, why we're conducting this survey, can I answer all or part of a question, and what if I have questions, who can I contact? So hopefully it'll be a productive week for us. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know, and good luck.